I'm David Silverstein with American Home Contractors, and this is the one-day deck house installation with GAF Timberline solar roof. Deck houses are beautiful homes. They're manufactured in the Massachusetts area, and there's a lot of them in the DC metro area. The construction is unique, and it's something you have to pay attention to when replacing, repairing, and maintaining the deck houses that people purchase. The roofing system itself is a sandwich. There's no attic underneath typically. The ceiling itself, which is tongue and groove, made of 3 pieces of wood, is the actual ceiling. And then on top of that, you get insulation, whether it's 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches of insulation. And then on top of the top part of the sandwich is the plywood. And then of course you have your underlayments and your roofing materials that go on top of that to seal everything off. It's a non-ventilated system, so you have to be very careful not to install a ridge vent unless there is an attic portion of the deck house, which is typically an addition. But the deck house itself is non-ventilated, no soffit vents, no ridge vents, everything's sealed off tightly. If you do try to ventilate it, it will result in moisture issues down the road. And also when you're replacing wood, you have to be very careful not to drive fasteners too far through the sandwich and through the actual ceiling itself, because it will poke through the underside, and that's the exposed part inside of the house and underneath on the porch overhangs. If, God forbid, you do have a scenario where you have to replace the actual ceiling wood because of a severe leak, then you have to make sure that you follow the stagger pattern, because there's 8-foot on-center rafter beams inside of the deck house, which makes it really beautiful when you look inside and you look up and you see these large spanning rafter beams and the tongue and groove wood, 8 foot on center across from that. But the seams are staggered. The tongue and groove ceiling is all put together in a certain way. So if you do have to replace that, you have to really think hard about replacing long spans of wood, 16 feet or further, to make sure that those seams, when they're replaced on center with that 8-foot rafter beam, you don't have a large section that's just drooping down, because that makes it not structurally proper for a deck home. So yeah, a lot of considerations when replacing a roof on a deck house: the ventilation, the fastener length, making sure you pay attention to the materials that make up that sandwich of the ceiling and components and the roofing system as a whole. And we installed a GAF Timberline solar roof on top of this beautiful roof, which makes it even more of a unique project and something very special.